Pinocchio finds the fox and the cat again and goes with them to sow the gold pieces in the field of wonders. Pinocchio ignores once again the good advice of the talking cricket and the fairy. Crying as if his heart would break, the marionette mourns for hours over the length of his nose. No matter how he tries, it would not go through the door. The fairy shows no pity toward him, as she is trying to teach him a good lesson so that he would stop telling lies, the worst habit any boy may acquire. But when she sees him pale with fright and with his eyes half out of his head from terror, she begins to feel sorry for him and claps her hands together. 1,000 woodpeckers fly in through the window and settle themselves on Pinocchio's nose. They peck and peck so hard at that enormous nose that in a few moments it is the same size as before. "How good you are, my fairy," says Pinocchio, drying his eyes, "and how much I love you." "I love you too," answers the fairy, "and if you wish to stay with me, you may be my little brother, and I will be your good little sister." "I should like to stay, but what about my poor father?" "I have thought of everything. Your father has been sent for, and before night he will be here." "Really?" cries Pinocchio joyfully. "Then, my good fairy, if you are willing, I should like to go to meet him. I cannot wait to kiss that dear old man who has suffered so much for my sake." "Surely, go ahead, but be careful not to lose your way. Take the wood path, and you will surely meet him." To sow זה לזרות. To mourn זה להתאבל. pity זה רחמים. may זה עשוי, יכול. To acquire זה לרכוש, להשיג. pale זה חיוור. fright זה פחד. terror זה אימה, טרור. To clap זה למחוא כפיים. woodpecker זה נקר. To peck זה לנקר. enormous זה עצום, ענק. To stay זה להישאר. For my sake זה למעני. Pinocchio sets out, and as soon as he finds himself in the wood, he runs like a hare. When he reaches the giant oak tree, he stops, for he thinks he hears a rustle in the brush. He's right. There stand the fox and the cat, the two traveling companions with whom he had eaten at the Inn of the Red Lobster. "Here comes our dear Pinocchio," cries the fox, hugging and kissing him. "How did you happen here?" "How did you happen here?" repeats the cat. "It is a long story," says the marionette. "Let me tell it to you. The other night, when you left me alone at the inn, I met the assassins on the road." "The assassins?" "Oh, my poor friend. And what did they want?" "They wanted my gold pieces." "Rascals," says the fox. "The worst sort of rascals," adds the cat. "But I began to run," continues the marionette, "and they after me, until they overtook me and hanged me to the limb of that oak." Pinocchio points to the giant oak nearby. "Could anything be worse?" says the fox. "What an awful world to live in! Where shall we find a safe place for gentlemen like ourselves?" As the fox talks thus, Pinocchio notices that the cat carries his right paw in a sling. brush זה סבך, a hair זה ארנב, to reach זה להגיע, giant זה ענק, a rustle זה רשרוש, companion זה חבר, lobster זה סרטן שאוכלים, כן? To repeat זה לחזור, rascal זה נבל, מנוול, to overtake זה להשיג ולעבור, a limb זה ענף, to point זה להצביע, awful זה נורא, safe זה בטוח, sling זה לולאה, to notice זה לראות, לשים לב. What happened to your paw? He asks. The cat tries to answer, but he becomes so terribly twisted in his speech that the fox has to help him out. My friend is too modest to answer. I'll answer for him. About an hour ago, we met an old wolf on the road. He was half-starved and begged for help. Having nothing to give him, what do you think my friend did? Out of the kindness of his heart, With his teeth, he bit off the paw of his front foot and threw it at that poor beast, so that he might have something to eat. As he speaks, the fox wipes off a tear. Pinocchio, almost in tears himself, whispers in the cat's ear, "If all the cats were like you, how lucky the mice would be." "And what are you doing here?" the fox asks the marionette. "I'm waiting for my father, who will be here at any moment now." "And your gold pieces?" "I still have them in my pocket, except one which I spent at the Inn of the Red Lobster." "To think that those 4 gold pieces might become 2,000 tomorrow. Why don't you listen to me? Why don't you sow them in the field of wonders? Today it isn't possible. I'll go with you some other time. Another day will be too late," says the fox. פה זה כפה. To twist זה לעוות, לסלף. Speech זה דיבור. Terrible זה נורא. Modest זה צנוע. Wolf זה זאב. To starve זה להרעיב. Half זה למחצי. To throw זה לזרוק. Beast זה חיה. To wipe זה לנגב. A tear זה דמעה. To whisper זה ללחוש. Lucky זה בר מזל. Mice זה עכבר. To sow זה לזרוע. Why? Because that field has been bought by a very rich man, and today is the last day that it will be open to the public. How far is this field of wonders? Only 2 miles away. Will you come with us? We'll be there in half an hour. You can sow the money, and after a few minutes you will gather your 2,000 coins and return home rich. Are you coming? Pinocchio hesitates a moment before answering, for he remembers the good fairy, old Geppetto, and the advice of the talking cricket. Then he ends by doing what all boys do when they have no heart and a little brain. He shrugs his shoulders and says to the fox and the cat, "Let us go. I'm with you." And they go. They walk and walk for half a day, at least, and at last they come to the town called the City of Simple Simons. As soon as they enter the town, Pinocchio notices that all the streets are filled with hairless dogs, yawning from hunger, with sheared sheep trembling with cold, with combless chickens begging for a grain of wheat, with large butterflies unable to use their wings because they had sold all their lovely colors. Field זה שדה, to buy זה לקנות, the public זה ציבור, half an hour זה חצי שעה, to gather זה לאסוף, coin זה מטבע, to hesitate זה להסס, to end זה לסיים, butterfly זה פרפר, brain זה מוח, to shrug זה למשוך בכתפיים, at last זה סוף סוף, to enter זה להיכנס, hairless זה חסר שיער, קרח, to yawn זה לפהק, to shear זה לגזור, combless זה ללא קרבולת, comb זה, יש לזה 2 משמעויות, comb זה גם מברשת וגם קרבולת של תרנגול, grain זה תבואה, גרגר, with tailless peacocks ashamed to show themselves and with bedraggled pheasants scuttling away hurriedly, grieving for their bright feathers of gold and silver, lost to them forever. Through this crowd of paupers and beggars, a beautiful coach passes now and again. Within it sit either a fox, a hawk, or a vulture. "Where is the field of wonders?" asks Pinocchio, growing tired of waiting. "Be patient, it is only a few more steps away." They pass through the city, and just outside the walls they step into a lonely field, which looks more or less like any other field. "Here we are," says the fox to the marionette. Dig a hole here and put the gold pieces into it." The marionette obeys. He digs the hole, puts the 4 gold pieces into it, and covers them up very carefully. "Now," says the fox, "go to that nearby brook. Bring back a pail full of water and sprinkle it over the spot. Pinocchio follows the directions closely, but as he has no pail, he pulls off his shoe, fills it with water, and sprinkles the earth which covered the gold. Then he asks, Pauper זה אביון, beggar זה קבצן, פושט יד, tailless זה ללא זנב, peacock זה טווס, ashamed זה מתבייש, to bedraggle זה ללכלך, לרפש, בבוץ, pheasant זה פסיון, זה סוג של ציפור, to scuttle זה לרוץ מהר, bright זה בוהק, a coach זה כרכרה, עגלת נוסעים, a hawk זה נץ, a vulture זה נשר, to dig זה לחפור, a hole זה חור, to obey זה לציית, brook זה פלג, נחל, pale זה דלי, to sprinkle זה לפזר, לזרות, a spot זה נקודה, to follow זה לפעול לפי הוראות, a shoe זה נעל, to step זה לדרוך, a pale, יש שתי מילים במובן הזה, pale, P-A-I-L זה דלי, ויש pale שזה P-A-L-E שזה חיוור, אוקיי? זה נשמע אותו דבר אבל זה לא אותה משמעות. Anything else? Nothing else, answers the fox. Now we can go. Return here within 20 minutes and you will find the vine grown and the branches filled with gold pieces. Pinocchio, beside himself with joy, thanks the fox and the cat many times and promises them each a beautiful gift. We don't want any of your gifts, answered the two rogues. It is enough for us that we have helped you to become rich with little or no trouble. For this we are as happy as kings. They say goodbye to Pinocchio and wishing him good luck, go on their way. A vine זה גפן, a branch זה ענף, joy זה שמחה, gift זה מתנה, rogue זה נוכל, as happy as זה שמח כמו. Within 20 minutes, בעוד 20 דקות, to thank זה להודות, to promise זה להבטיח, to become זה להפוך, להיעשות, trouble זה טרחה, to return זה לחזור. And that's the end of chapter 18.